Okay, so Cokie is a recent graduate of the Baking and Pastry Arts program at Niagara College. Her dream is to have her own business called Cookies Dessert, which will be a combination bakery and food blog. Her website, cokiesdessert.com, will have a section for her blog where she will post recipes, tips, and videos that teach people how to bake. Cokie hopes to have her baking blog up running within the next year. You can go now, Cokie.
Thank you. So today we're making lemon drop sugar cookies. And so our first step is to preheat the oven to 350. And we're also going to put the parchment paper on our baking trays if you have that. So I already have the parchment paper on because I made them already. So just like that. And so the next thing we're going to do, which some of you have already started, is to zest the lemon and set it aside. I like to put it right into my mixing bowl because it's just faster that way because that's where it's going to go. So I'll just zest my whole lemon into my mixing bowl.
Quick question. Could you use foil paper instead of parchment paper?
I think it changes something with the heat, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I haven't done it with foil though.
Could I grease the pan instead? Or
because I've only made it without foil with just the baking sheet and I didn't grease it. But if anyone else knows about the foil, go ahead and let me know.
I would suggest, Maya, that you do grease your baking sheet if you don't have parchment paper.
Thank you, Wind.
I don't like mine super lemony, so I'm not really gonna zest the whole thing. I'll just do most of it. Okay, so I've zested my lemon. Now I just like to measure all my ingredients before I start. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure in the butter and the sugar. So I'm gonna put it right in the same bowl with the lemon zest. I'll start with the sugar. It's 3/4 cup of sugar. Right in with that lemon zest. And another trick for this one is that since we're putting the sugar and lemon zest together, if you were to make this on your own, you can actually just mix it up like this and let it sit so that the sugar draws out like the flavor of the lemon. And that's a good idea for any recipe where you're mixing lemon zest and sugar, that you can just let it sit together for like pretty much hours, as long as you cover it. That would just make it taste way more lemony. But anyway, so I have my lemon zest and my sugar in the bowl together, the mixing bowl. And I'm also gonna add the butter into this now. So that's half a cup of unsalted butter. Okay. I can't find my half cup, but I'll just do 2 quarter cups, of course. Okay, so all I've got in there is my butter, my sugar, and my lemon zest. And instead of just starting to mix it now, I'm actually just gonna set it aside so I can measure out the rest of my ingredients. So I'll just set this one aside. And I'll measure out. My next step was to do the flour, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. So I will measure out my dry ingredients in a separate container. So my sifter here, I'm gonna put 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Okay. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Quarter teaspoon of baking powder. And a quarter teaspoon of salt. So I'm just gonna sift that into my empty bowl here, so that I have most of my ingredients measured out. Okay, so I've got my mixing bowl with the butter, sugar, and lemon zest, and I have my other bowl with the sifted dry ingredients. Another ingredient that I'm gonna do now to make it easier is that half an egg, like you guys were talking about. So I'll just take one egg, crack it into my container. And I'll just mix it up so it's easier to divide in half later. So at this point, you can either put this in a separate container, just doing half of the egg like it calls for in the recipe, or you can just remember that you only have to do half. So for the recipe, you'll pour it in half. It's whichever you prefer. So I have my one egg here, but I know I'm just gonna pour half of it in later.
I've never heard of a half a egg in a recipe.
Yeah, because the original recipe actually uses liquid eggs, but I'm not gonna buy a whole container of liquid egg so that I can have tiny amount of eggs. So I've measured out all my ingredients except for the lemon juice and the vanilla. I don't really measure vanilla, so I don't have to worry about that. The lemon juice, you know, you just cut the lemon and then squeeze out the juice. This calls for 1 tablespoon of juice. I made this earlier, so I'm gonna use this part. So I'll put that in a separate container. I'll just squeeze some lemon juice in. Okay, and I'm just gonna grab the seeds out of it. Okay, so now I have all of my ingredients all measured out. So I'm just gonna start back with that butter, lemon zest, and sugar, just mixing it. You can use a whisk or a spatula. Mine is soft enough, I can use a spatula. And it's just like the last time where we're just mixing, we're just pushing it against the side of the bowl to mix it and just stirring it around until it's all mixed in. Of course, if you have a mixer, you can go ahead and use that to do this part with the butter. Okay, so mine is pretty much done being mixed. So let's see. At this point, I'm on step 5. So to the butter mixture, I'll add that half an egg and I'll mix it. So like I said, I have the full egg here. I'm only pouring half. Okay, I'm gonna save the rest for eggs later. So I got that half egg in there, just gonna mix it in. Now I'm adding the vanilla and that lemon juice. So it's half a teaspoon of vanilla. And 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And mix. Okay, now I'm on step 6. So I'm adding all my dry ingredients in and mixing. And I had sifted it before, so I'd make sure it's sifted. So at this point, that's all of my ingredients. I'm just gonna go in and mix it with my hands a little bit. It still is going to be a little bit of a dry kind of dough that we're making here. So my dough is pretty much mixed. It's not as wet as the other one. It's kind of still looks kind of dry. So what I'm going to do now is that, let's see. So for this one, you have the option. I scoop them into the balls and then I roll them in sugar before I bake them. That's up to you. I like the texture and the extra crunch of that sugar, but if you don't want the extra sugar, you don't have to do that. So I'm gonna form them into balls and just put them back into this bowl for a second so then I can roll them in the sugar. So I did get 12 out of this recipe based on the size of mine. So now I'm going to take a little container and I'm going to pour sugar into it so that I can roll these in sugar. Like I said, that's optional though. If you don't want it, you can just you can flatten them slightly if you like and then put them in the oven. I'll show you guys what it looks like flattened versus not flattened because I made two different ones. It's not a huge difference. This one's the flattened one, and this is the not flattened one. So it's a tiny difference, tiny. I do prefer flattened though, just because I don't really like sugar cookies. So I like them to be thinner. Yeah. Anyway, so now I'm gonna grab my baking sheet. And I'll roll these in the sugar. I'm just rolling into a ball with my hands, rolling it in the sugar. And as you roll them in your hands, it'll get wetter so that it'll stick to the sugar better.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So my dough, it's not as dry, like it's not letting me do that, not letting me make balls. It's very sticky and I don't know what to do.
Let me see.
Okay. Hold on. You see
And
it?
is anyone else having this problem too? Did you put the amount of flour into it?
Yeah, I did everything right. I just don't know.
Like you can't form it into balls at all?
I mean, maybe if I put like oil in my hands and then try to roll them into little circles because I don't have the ice cream scoop. So
Yeah.
I'll try it. I don't know.
I mean, if not, if it's really too liquidy, you can always try adding a little bit more flour, considering the main dry ingredient is flour.
Right.
But if you can form it into balls, then go ahead and just do it as it is.
Okay.
Okay, so I have mine all rolled into balls already. I'm gonna flatten them slightly. They do spread on their own too, though. And the more you flatten them, you should be more careful about checking when they're done, because they may be done quicker. So I just flatten them so that they look like this. And now I'm gonna put them in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes. So I see Pam's cleaning up. Did you already put yours in the oven then?
Yes, we did.
Yay.
And Joseph made some interesting creations. He didn't stick to the round balls. He made some shapes and, right?
I made Pinocchio, and I rolled up a really long piece of dough, and it's sticking so far out that I think it will wilt.
Oh,
Or burn maybe, right?
you'll have to show us then later.
So Cokie, you mentioned these are not your favorite cookies. What would be your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert, or
Or your favorite sweet or, yeah.
I really like mousse. Yeah.
Yes, I like chocolate mousse. That would have been nice to make too.
Yeah.
Next time.
I'm just so impatient though, because mousse takes forever because it has to sit overnight in the fridge. So.
That's right. How about you, Maya? What is your favorite dessert?
That's a very good question that I couldn't answer right now. There's so many options. I don't know. I love chocolate cake though. It's one of my favorite things ever, but it needs to be done like a certain way. I think very picky with it. Well, what about you? What's your favorite dessert?
There used to be like we used to get this cake from Dufflet's Bakery. It's a bakery mostly out in Toronto, and it was a lemon white chocolate cake. And I've been trying to find it. Like whenever I see a lemon, like something that resembles it, I buy it, but it's never quite the same.
Oh,
You know. But you make those nice desserts, those Colombian desserts.
well, those exist actually. Yeah.
What are they called again?
So they're called Napoleon, like the guide, like it's pretty similar to tres leches, which is the most like a famous version of it kind of thing. But yeah, we'll make it a little bit differently.
How about you, Win?
I say my favorite dessert is the one I'm eating at the moment.
Good one, Win.
Are
But,
yours already done?
no, I just put them in the oven. I dug around and I found in my cupboard a jar of candied ginger. So I put a chunk of candied ginger on the top of each lemon cookie. I thought the lemon and the ginger would go together. So I'll let you know in 6 minutes how that works.
That sounds delicious. Kathy, how about you? What would be your favorite dessert?
I really don't know. There's many.
There are many indeed.
I love cheesecake. I like my appleless apple pie.
Appleless apple pie?
Yes. I
Tell
was
us
waiting
more.
for that.
Tell us more about that.
There's no apples in it. Tastes just like apple pie. Looks like apple pie. It's called mock apple pie. It's made with Ritz crackers.
Very interesting.
It's very good.
Is the texture the same, like as apples?
Just about, yeah. Yeah, you can Google it. Just Google mock apple pie.
That sounds interesting. I suppose if all the spices were the same, then I guess it would taste like it, right? Let's see.
And Velvet, how about you? While we're waiting for Cokie to look at this mock apple pie, what is your favorite dessert?
Butter tarts.
Oh, yes.
Butter tarts.
Do you make them yourself?
I make like butter tart squares at Christmas time with my daughter. Oh, have we made actual butter tarts? Yeah, we've made like actual mini butter tarts. I forgot about that.
Beautiful. How about, and Joseph, how about you? What is your favorite dessert?
Chocolate bar.
Chocolate bar?
Chocolate bar.
Or Nutella.
Nutella?
So for this mock apple pie, are you allergic to apples? Or wait, no. You were here for the muffins, right?
Yep. No, I can eat apples.
Oh, so what made you think to use or to make a mock apple pie?
Actually, years ago, when my husband went off work due to disability, he did a lot of baking. And he made 3 apple pies, appleless apple pies, and he brought them into work for me. And I gave everybody at work a slice of pie, and my boss couldn't believe it was not apples. And the last 2 pies that I had, she bought off of me because she had to have a homemade dessert for dinner that night, and that was it. But they couldn't believe it was Ritz crackers.
That's pretty interesting. And you like it better than regular apple pie?
Yeah.
Wow. I'll have to try it sometime.
You know, it takes about 10 minutes to cook the apples and all that. And then 25 minutes to bake. So 35 minutes total. And the recipe has like the Ritz cracker crumb topping, or you can use regular pie crust. I've done it both ways.
Which way's better?
The crumb topping, I think, is better because I've never managed to get enough. I either get too much sauce and cracker, or not enough sauce and cracker to fill the plate, the pie. So I think the crumb topping is better. And that is just, again, it's Ritz crackers, butter and cinnamon. And sugar, I think.
Okay, my timer just went off. How do I know if they're done?
So the way that I know is that, like, if you look at it from the side, like, first of all, the cookie shouldn't be too flat. Like, if it's getting way too flat, then just take it out. But from the side, you should be able to tell that the bottom is starting to brown, not the top, just the bottom. My timer went off too, but I think I'll leave it in for 2 more minutes. So the ones that I had made previously, I have a pretty good example of how the bottom should turn out. So while the top is still white, the bottom is significant, like, that one's not a good one. Well, you can kind of see it. Here's the top versus the bottom. You can definitely see that this one's way more brown. And then when you go into it, like once it's cooled, it's pretty good. The other one I made that I didn't press down, that's like thicker, that one got brown on the bottom more because I had to leave it in longer.
Mine have been in for 12 and they still, I think, need a couple minutes.
That's fine. Mine have been in for 11 minutes already.
Okay.
My oven runs, doesn't run hot at all.
My favorite cookie are, my mom used to make these spice cookies at Christmas. And they had that clove and cinnamon, gingery, yummy smell. And then she'd decorate them, do them into shapes of trees and candy canes. And those are the only cookies I think I truly love. I'll have a cookie, but I would eat a tin of those. They were yummy.
My grandmother used to make at Christmas time strawberry cookies. And they were actually in the shape of strawberries with strawberry jello and coconut and the green maraschino cherries for the leaves.
Oh, yum.
But I don't remember I don't know what else she put in it, and I don't have the recipe. I can't find a recipe to simulate it.
Have you Googled other countries? Was your mom from another country?
Nope.
No, from Canada?
Yep.
Okay. Well, my mom grew up in Canada, but she was of German and Russian descent. So I think a lot of her cookies came from there.
Yeah. Oh, my grandmother is of English descent. her husband was of Scottish descent, but they were born in Canada.
Oh, okay. That's too bad you can't find the recipe. Be a nice little keepsake.
Yeah. Well, at least I found out how to make pickled carrots, so that's fine.
Pickled carrot.
Yes. That's the only way, one of the ways I will eat carrots is if they're dilled or pickled.
I've never had them that way. They sound good. I love.
Oh, they are. Or the other way is with ketchup on it. So
Sorry, what was that?
I have to have ketchup on my carrots if they're
Oh
not
my
pickled.
God. You put ketchup on everything. It was really weird. Okay, so that's 14. So I think they're going to be at 15 minutes. Hey, Duncan. Oops.
So has anyone's come out of the oven yet? Oh, I think Wynn is taking hers out.
Mine are coming out now.
I got one tray almost ready to come out.
They smell really good.
Pam's looks good.
Mine are still in the oven.
I don't know if you can see that.
Nice.
Oh, I see. Looks good. Mine, I think, are ready to come out too.
Wow. Look at that.
Oh, let me see that.
This was Pinocchio's nose before, but it sank in.
Oh,
And his eyes are open. This is a really long snake that I made. Focus.
For how long should I cool them down, like before eating?
at least 5 minutes because they're still soft now, so you don't want to like wreck them.
Right.
Okay, mine were in for 9 minutes.
Cookies were in for 11 minutes. They're still not brown. So I put them in for another 2, and I'm just tasting a hot cookie now. The flavor is really, really good. And the texture is sort of crunchy on the outside and creamy on the inside. So it's a really nice cookie.
Yay, I'm glad you like it.
Okay, Cokie, there's 2 of mine. My camera off again.
Oh, no, I see it now.
That's the bottom of one, that's the top of the other. Can you see
Oh, I
them
actually only
okay?
see one. Can you? Oh, now I see it. Oh, it looks good. Yep.
That was 9 minutes.
You must have a good oven then.
Must have.
Yeah, mine never.
Yeah, Cokie, these turned out really nice.
Yay. It's good. Yeah, mine are pretty much cool enough to move around actually. So.
Mm. They're really good.
Yay. So is everyone's out of the oven now?
My second batch is in.
Well, once everyone's done, then we can take a screenshot like last time, I think.
Sounds good.
I'm sorry, what are we doing?
I'm gonna take a screenshot like last time. A group
I
shot of
wasn't
the
there.
cookies?
I wasn't there last time, so
No, the with the chocolate chip cookies.
I had to leave early. I had to
Ah.
cut surgery.
If you
Behind.
just want to have your cookies ready in the video, and so like the way Cokie is right now, just have
Let me
the
see.
cookies out, and we'll take a screenshot with everyone on their cookies. Maya, are you okay to do that for us?
Maybe this way. Or not.
Oh, thanks, Maya.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Cokie, for another wonderful baking class this evening. Does anyone have any questions for Cokie before we exit?
No, but I do have apologies to you guys from Margaret. She's still not able to walk. She's hunched over like an old lady, really old lady. She threw her back out decorating her house for Halloween.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she finally today got in touch with the doctor, and he was sending through a prescription for her for the pain. But because of